It's Grace Redman. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Real Talk, where I get to have real life, raw conversations with incredible people from my circles and communities who've overcome challenges and created amazing. I'm so excited because our guest today is a Bay Area legend, Vern Glenn. Vern is San Francisco's CBS station KPIX dynamic sports director and one of the most recognizable voices in Bay Area sports. Vern has spent over 4 decades in local television sports, and if you've ever watched him, you know he doesn't just cover the story, he jumps right into it. He learned the legendary nickname Mr. Involvement by literally throwing himself into reporting, skydiving, bull riding, crashing a dirt bike, and even putting his body on the line with pro football players. Because why not? That fearless all-in style has continued to define his career, bringing energy, heart, and unforgettable storytelling to Bay Area sports, earning multiple Emmy Awards, and along the way, an induction into the San Francisco, Northern California Silver Circle Hall of Fame. Vern has created a lane that's entirely his own, passionate, playful, and deeply connected to his audience. That's why I'm so excited to welcome Vern Glenn to the show today.
Bam!
Bam!
And here we go.
Let's do it, Bay Area.
That's right. That's right.
This is so
awfully good to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Been looking forward to it. Had it on my calendar. And it's funny, as you were going through the setup to bring me in, that crash into the wall on a motorcycle cost me a tryout with the American Gladiators because my arm felt a little funny, and I was like, boy, I better go get this checked out. And so while I'm sitting there after getting the X-rays, I'm sitting there and I'm watching our news on a monitor, and the doctor comes in and says, "Mr. Involvement, how'd you bust your arm?" I go, "Well, if you got a couple of minutes, we can watch it right now."
Oh,
and that was something. So no American Gladiators, not in my dossier.
Not this time. You never know what happens later.
I don't know, man. The years have trickled on, and I'm not able to bounce back from injury like I used to.
Oh, I hear you. It's like I have to be very mindful myself of the way I'm not the way I used to be, but I still have that fire. You still have that fire. We're coming off Super Bowl weekend. I know the city was abuzz all last week. I had the pleasure to be in the city, had the pleasure, to watch you in all the exciting festivities. So you still got that fire.
I got it. I bring it every single day. You know what? I've been in the game over 41 years. Haven't worked a day in my life because I'm one of these yucky schmoes that have wanted to do this since the 10th grade. And so anybody out there, I mean, that can relate, that are doing what they're doing, they're having fun at it. They probably had a desire to do it even before they were able to earn a paycheck doing it.
So
one of the smartest things I ever did, talk about paychecks. Number one, I don't even see it. Number two, one of the smartest things I did, I just let my wife take it. I put her in control of the finance. She pays the bills. And so now I'm in a position where I can just go to her and go, "Hey, can I get a hoodie?" Yes, no. I just would just rather work and then just have her just take care of everything else.
Well, what a blessing. What a blessing. Because we're so lucky to have you. And again, for over 4 decades, you have been the voice of sports. And like I told you, when I was walking out, my husband was like, "What are you up to today?" I'm like, "I'm, interviewing Vern Glenn." He's like, "Wait, what?" So you are just definitely a legend to all of us. And we're so grateful. And I love how you said, like, you've been doing this for 41 years and you haven't worked a day in your life. You've been wanting to do this since you were 10 years old. And so we hear that often. If we're doing what we love,
10th grade. Not 10 years old, 10th grade. Yeah. Yeah.
What was it in the 10th grade that made you realize this is what you wanted to do?
Well, it just kind of was an accumulation of a lot of things. I love sports. I love writing about it. I love emoting about it. I love debating about it in the dining hall at school, to the point where one day we're me and my buddies were arguing about something in the dining hall, and the headmaster walked by, a guy named George McVeigh. And he kind of turned and looked at us and went, why don't you guys start talking about academics? And we're just like, But anyway, but I thought right then and there, if I'm going to make a living out of doing this, this is what I need to do. And I did need academics for it, because I had to major in broadcast journalism once I was really kind of creating that path. But something about it, number one, it brings people together. Okay. Republicans, Democrats, all nationalities, all genders, brings it all together. We're as one, as we're all rooting for the same things. Usually it's winners, losers, touchdowns, home runs. It's just being there for the moment. 41 years of my career, I could say maybe there's a handful of times where I've kind of been in the moment, where I'm like, my God, I can't believe I'm here covering this. I can't believe I just saw this. I can't believe I just experienced this. So that's what does it for me. That's the payoff for me, being there in the moment when something special happens. And so it just kind of what keeps me going. Also, here's the other thing. Here's the misconception. The misconception is, we go to these games, we go to these practices, we sit down and we have our coffee, maybe a couple of drinks, we schmooze with some of the players, and then, hey, after practice of the games, hey, we hang out with these players, and we're buddies. Our wives get together and all that kind of that's just one big thing. And then when we do a news, the misconception that I drive in and park in the garage and I walk upstairs and then just grab some scripts that magically just kind of wrote themselves, and am voicing over highlights that somehow they were edited by themselves. They're just there, and I just walk in 5 minutes before I'm supposed to go on, and I just bam have this presentation. And we all know inside of the industry, for the civilians out there, it is not the way it is. You can't cut corners. It doesn't take some of you. It takes all of you. We're not Monday through Friday with the weekends off and with the 2-week summer vacation, the ski week in February. We don't live that life. We have one season that blends into the next season, that blends into the next season, and then that's just kind of how it goes. But it's a commitment type thing, and it's a sacrifice type thing that you have to have if you want to get the most out of this. And then there's some that kind of do it, just do enough to get by, and that's fine. But in the end, they kind of burn, right off. But anybody that you are linked with, married to, dating outside of the business, they better know what they signed up for. I've been in the game for 41 years, taking one sick day. One.
Bless you.
Now there's some people that work for companies. Maybe they give you like 10 sick days, 10 freebies a year, where they kind of call in sick and then go skiing for the day. I'm not one of those guys. We have 5 people in the sports department, 3 producers, 2 on-air people. If one of us calls sick and plays hooky, then that just impacts the entire sports department. And so you check your ego at the door, you roll up your sleeves, and you just dive into what task is at hand. We don't work 9 to 5. We work odd hours, and it's not like we work 8 hours and then 1 minute after 8 hours, oh, I'm off the clock. I don't know you anymore. No. You stay until the entire job is done. Those are the demands of our profession. And again, it's not for everybody. It really isn't. You got to say goodbye to your weekends, say goodbye to your holidays, say goodbye to, again, all those at the weddings, stuff like, say goodbye to all of it, unless you've pre-planned to have that off with your vacation. And vacation is another thing. Grace, I get 5 weeks a year. I'm lucky if I take 10 days.
I was going to ask if you can take that.
That's 2 days here, maybe 3 here, maybe 1 here, whatever. They're broken up. I'm going to burn 2 of those days coming up as we take this show, because we have to go to SLO and visit my son. And so there was some maneuvering that had to be done, because my 5-day work week is Sunday through Thursday. Sunday's our heaviest day of the week. We have so much content and so many shows. So we really had to kind of work to make that happen. So anyway, I know I'm long-winded, but I just wanted to be clear as to how this thing is. And for any civilian out there that just thinks, oh, well, on air, TV, sports, what could go wrong? How hard can that be?
Well, we've talked, when we first connected, you talked about this, and you said, everyone thinks that it's glamorous, and you don't see the sacrifice that goes into it, and the commitment and the consistency, and being an entrepreneur. Definitely, I can relate to a lot of what you said. And I also know that we do need to make the space and time for, your family, your wife, and most importantly, your health. Like, how are you able to continue to be committed, consistent, and, showing up these 41 years, calling in sick once? How are you able to kind of manage, take care of yourself and your spirit? Because you always have this high vibe energy. Like, what do you do to stay in that energy and just to stay emotionally, mentally, and physically well? Because I see you're always on, like, your energy's always high vibing. Like, share your secret with us.
Well, I mean, I live in a constant state of fatigue. It's like living inside of this fatigue bubble, and I just kind of navigate within there. I'll tell you one thing: if you and I are kind of hanging out and we're going somewhere, I would insist on driving. You know why? Because if you drove, I'd fall asleep on you.
Got it.
The motion of that car and just the relaxed state, fall right asleep on you. And so I just keep going, to kind of keep the energy up there. And I've learned, it's taken me a while to learn this, but you got to kind of take care of your health. I mean, it's so easy it's so easy to just go to these games, go to these practices, eat bad food. I work late. I come home every night about 12:15, 12:30 in the morning. Everybody's asleep. And so you still have that nervous energy it takes a while to kind of unwind and come down from that 11 o'clock news. And so it's so easy to just go to the cabin, let me pour a little red wine, munchies, maybe fix a sandwich, all those chips, they look pretty good. Well, I mean, that adds up. Because if you do that and you get relaxed, fall asleep, all that stuff turns to sugar. And I learned the hard way, being a like the borderline like diabetic, like the rest of this country is. And so, boy, you just got to be careful. You got to have some kind of self-discipline, or you will get in trouble. I had to lose 30 pounds. 30.
I saw your journey.
Not because, I mean, yes, I wanted to, but also. You have to cite your health too. I mean, and now I'm fitting in clothes I hadn't worn in years, which is great, but I had to take care of me. And, cause, you could walk out the door, go to your car and get smacked down by some bus. And then what do you got? You got a house, you got a wife, you got, 3 boys that were trying to help, even though they're in their 20s and they're kind of on their own. They never stop being your kids. At some point, you got to help them. So
I have 2 sons too. So
that's 5 kids. That's 5 boys between us.
Yeah, 5 boys between us. So I love how you got to that piece about taking care of your health and being mindful of what you put into your body. And I can relate to what you're saying, because I'm very mindful, and that's how I'm able to stay committed, consistent, because you do have to sacrifice. And my health is the most important thing. So you're right. For me, that means, like, I don't drink alcohol anymore, and I'm very mindful of what I put in my body, because it makes a difference. So what I'm hearing you say is that you're just very mindful of what goes into your body. Now, what about sleep?
Sleep? What's that? Sleep is overrated. I'm probably in my deepest rim between 2 a.m. and 5:36. Um, usually, usually the way it works is, but by the time I wake up, wife is gone. She hits the gym every morning at like 6:30. She's gone, and so by the time I'm going to work, she's coming in. So it's so a lot of times it's ships passing through, but that's just kind of the way it worked because she's first of all, my wife is a badass, just a
I love
straight
that.
up badass. I mean, she whipped herself into shape. She's in the greatest shape of her life, and I want to be supportive and keep it that way because she made some sacrifices for me, staying home and taking the kids and getting and now she's her time is her own, and I have to respect that. And so yeah, I by the time I roll out, have my coffee, and make sure the girls, my two dogs, get out and do their business. That now it's 8:30, and so I have the window of time between 8:30 to see what's happening today, spend a little time on my 501c nonprofit, my Vern Glenn Invitational Foundation, and then other things like talk to you,
Yes.
do my radio shows, do my podcast, and then right around 2 in the afternoon, that's when I'm like, all right, lock in a little bit, and then start head on into to do the shows. That's kind of the system.
So you have a routine, and do you feel like that routine helps you maintain that high energy?
Look at this. You see that? That's the wife checking up on me. She's calling. The leash is tugging.
So, well, I'm going to ask the question because, again, you said, she sacrificed, and you've, been in the industry for so long. And I know that you've been married a very long time. And these days it's rare. What do you think helped keep your marriage together, considering like this really high pressure position that you have, and you're probably not around a lot of the time?
Again, it's sacrifice, it's respect, it's saying a lot of you're right, honey. She's and just realizing that everything that I do is for her, for the kids, for the family, and we've been able to build a good foundation there, and we kind of know our roles. We know what we have to do, and then we get together on family things and planning and stuff like that, and 28 years. It's worked, and there's not a whole lot of time, Grace, to watch the grass grow here at the Glenn house. I mean, there's always something going on, and
that's life.
And it's kind of translated to to my kids. My son runs his own business.
Nice.
My middle son is in law school. My youngest son is a mechanical engineer major, and so they're hustling as well, and they've seen how much my wife and I, Nicole, how we run around, and so maybe I don't know, maybe it puts a little pressure on them to kind of do the same thing.
Well, is it pressure, or are they like inspired? And that's just what
probably a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a little bit of both.
And when you say pressure, what does that pressure look like when they were growing up? Was it, this is what you have to do?
Pressure is as far as like bringing up the kids when they were younger.
Yeah. What did that, like you said, maybe it was a little bit pressure. Was the pressure like, okay, it's a non-negotiable. You need to go to, college. It's a non-negotiable. You need to do these things. Or was it, what was the pressure? What did that look like?
I guess the pressure kind of mixed with drive, ambition, have an interest, go after it. Don't sit around and play your video games. I mean, there's time for that, right. But it was just always, there's always a need to hustle and drive and succeed for something. I'm the son of educators. Nikki's Nikki's father also was an educator. My dad was the first one in the family to go to college. My mom is Dr. Barbara Glenn. She's a doctorate of English. She taught college English for years, and so I've wanted to strive to at least be as successful as they are, and I want to make them proud. I mean, let's face it, you, me, your husband, yeah, what do we want? We do want to make our parents proud, and I think they are. My first Emmy Award is sitting on the mantle of my folks' condo right now because they were there when I won that night.
I love that. What did it feel like to win that first Emmy? I know you've won 6 since. What did it feel like to win the first one? And did it feel different winning the first one as opposed to winning the 6th one?
Yes, it does feel different. The first one, it's the old saying, you never forget the first time. The first one was surreal. I mean, it was red carpet. It was Hollywood lights. It was a tuxedo. It was in Who Are You Wearing? It was the whole shebang. It felt like the actual primetime Emmy Awards.
Nice.
And my category was Best Sportscaster, and my parents were there. Wife was there. Sister-in-law, brother-in-law, sister. They were all there, and they announced the category, and the nominees are just like you see on TV. And then, it's got the name, and then just like a little video of kind of stuff you've done. And then they open an envelope, and then they read it right there. It's sealed, and they read Vern Glenn, the best of Vern. And so this was 2017, and I just leaped up, hugged my wife, and then I ran down the steps of this theater, and the first guy I hugged was a guy named Da Lin, who I work with at Channel 5, and ran on stage, and then these 2 women in these sequence dresses, they kind of show up, and then one hands me the Emmy, and you had sort of kind of something planned to say, but then you just your whole career flashes before you. You just stream of consciousness, and then you're just thanking all these people, and then all of a sudden you hear the band starting to play you off. And then I walked off the stage, and I walked off the stage to the back, and that same woman in the sequence dress rips the Emmy out of my hands. I go, what's going on? He goes, oh, this is just a prop. Your real Emmy is down the hall into that room. And so you go in this room, and then there's a couple of women with a little checklist, and you give your name. They check it off, and then they give you this great, nice box, and you open it up, and your Emmy is right there.
Nice.
With everything just kind of embossed. And what a moment. What a moment. And then family came down. We took group pictures on the red carpet, and then we went up to Marin to one of my favorite places called the Buckeye, and we had more champagne then. It was a great night, but nothing really matches. Nothing matches that night.
The first time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you have a feeling that you were going to win, or was that just something that you didn't even think about? You
don't know, because the other 2 in my category are really good. I mean, they're still great. I mean, in fact, one of them, the 2 years I didn't win it, that person won it. So I knew. I mean, I knew it just kind of gone. It could have gone either way, because they've got it. But for whatever reason, I just have. It was my night, that particular night, and then 5 other nights since.
Now, was that and congratulations on that. That's amazing. 6 Emmys. What, when you're in 10th grade and you thought about, okay, I want to, be in sports. I want to be a sports reporter. In your mind, did you visualize like, I am going to be the best and I'm going to win an Emmy?
I didn't know what an Emmy was in the 10th grade. I just knew that I wanted to talk about and cover sports. I knew it was going to be at the local level. There was no ESPN when I was growing up, and And so I just wanted to be in the game. I wanted to see what it was like to be in these arenas and watching these high level elite athletes just perform like to the best of their abilities and find out what makes them tick. How do they do it? Because at the end of the day, these are real people with real lives and real families and real problems.
Yes.
And they just happen to be just athletically and mentally gifted to be able to stay at that level. How do they do it? And I wanted to find out.
What is one thing that you can share with us, like how to be at that level? What's, one principle you can share with us?
The common denominator, I think, is their dedication, their sense of and demands of their body and their capabilities, and pushing beyond those demands to get to that higher level. And then once you get there, working twice as hard to stay there. If you're a hockey player, it's not enough to be able to skate forwards, backwards, stop on a dime. But there's stick handling. So you got a stick coach, you got a skate coach, you got a nutritionist, you've got you've got a strength coach. You got this team that are making you maintain at that level. There are NFL players I know, particularly linebackers, defensive players, that have their own chiropractors, Grace. So after every practice and after every game, these chiropractors, they come in and they do the adjustments because they have to get their body ready for the next week. And nobody knows their bodies better than these chiropractors. And, the team doesn't pay for that. The player has to pay for that. And so you could be out of pocket just thousands of dollars in your body care. And so it's what you don't see beyond the practices and the games.
The dark
really
world.
got to make them, and with these quarterbacks, it's just an extra gear, being able to process things and make the right decision in 2.5 seconds. That's what the best ones do. I mean, it's crazy to say, but that ball is snapped by the time right when you say 1, 2, by 2, that ball's out. It's got to be out somewhere. Whether they run it a go route, a 7, a curl, whatever. I mean, you got to make that decision. And when the ball's in the air, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad: incompletions, interceptions, or completions.
And then how have you seen them manage when it doesn't go their way? Manage their state when it doesn't.
Well, I think that's where the mental toughness comes into play. The maturity certainly has to come into play. If you're a veteran of pick the sport, you know how to handle failure because you will fail in this sport. But how you respond to it is the measure of character and who you are.
Yes, I believe
nobody likes to lose, but
No.
if you went out there and you laid it out and you still lost the game, what more can you ask? And the good ones, the veterans, don't trash talk. They don't do it. They just use their play as their example. My favorite athlete of all time is Ronnie Lott of the 49ers. And it's not just because of his play, but just the wisdom he has, the knowledge he has, the insight that he has. I mean, I could sit back and I could watch and listen to Ronnie Lott read the phone book. So yeah, he's my all-time favorite. Dave Stewart, a close second. Dave Stewart, Major League pitcher, Oakland A's, grew up in Oakland, went to A's games as a kid, just fell in love with the game, and he's another one, has a tremendous amount of wisdom. Just two of the greatest in my book. And it's not just because of what they do on the field.
It's because how they show up off the field as well.
Absolutely.
In that wisdom, in that ability to manage the failures.
And they treat people the way they want to be treated. They have a sense. Hey, look, if you're Ronnie Lott, hey, when I'm on the field, My job is to stop the offense, inflict pain, make him think about coming across field my way again. But that's what he did for a living. When the game's over and the street clothes are on, he walks outside. He's regular guy, Ronnie
Totally.
Lott.
I mean, we'd see him around the neighborhood, a lot of different, events we've gone to. So down to earth and so kind, so kind.
Yeah, and his
And I
wife
think
Karen, great.
and at the end of the day, that's really what I feel like this everything's about, is like, what is the type of person you are? Like, how are you showing up? Are you kind? Do you treat everyone the same if they're an athlete or if they're, coming to, help take out the trash? That's really, to me, determines your character, is how are you treating other people. And thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you here at Real Talk. If you've been inspired by what you're hearing and you're ready to take things to the next level, I would be honored to work with you. If you're a leader or entrepreneur ready to soar, I offer one-on-one coaching to help you create a business and life of freedom that you are excited to wake up to. And if you're craving something more intimate, I offer a personal VIP day that includes deep dive coaching, a nature walk, and an early dinner. I promise you will leave just feeling rejuvenated. If this speaks to you, please reach out and let's do this together. You can find me at www.graceredman.com. Now, back to the program.
You reminded me of something when you said take out the trash. It's a great story. Tom Brady, okay? Say what you want about him. I mean, those that really don't know him.
He's our alum. I mean, he's from our neighborhood.
I was talking to his dad, who I'm close to, Tom Sr. He calls himself the original. And I said, when Tom comes home, I mean, what's he like? I mean, how do you treat him? Is it like, hey, MVP, take out the trash? Will he take out the trash? He goes, yeah, absolutely. He says there's no pedestals in the house. And so Tom is Tom. And so he's been able to accomplish a lot of things, and he's been able to really expose his brand. I am proud of that. But absolutely, in my mind, he's the same old Tom Brady, San Mateo, Sarah High School. Baseball was his best sport. Football came later, and those that really kind of know him, kind of know what time it really is, as opposed to those that just see him, nutrition. Oh, I eat tree bark. I just, I endorse this. I've invested in this soccer team. Like, yeah, great. Wonderful. Grace, he's terrific.
100%.
But he's the same guy.
For sure. And I'll piggyback on that because, my sons went to Sarah and my oldest son played in the team of Never.
Padres?
Yeah, the Padres. And Tom Brady would call in to Coach Walsh, FaceTime, to talk to the team. Like, he doesn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. He did that several times. He came, by the school. Obviously, Tom Sr. in the field. So they're totally down to, and Mrs. Brady, very down to earth, very kind, definitely give back to.
I have a not so secret crush on Galen Brady.
She's a sweetheart. So. And that's what it's about. Yes, you talked about, Steph Curry earlier as well. And, Ronnie Lott, Tom Brady, Dave Matthews. And at the end of the day, it's who are they as a person? And it doesn't matter who we are. It's like, how are we showing up? And that's what I love about you, Vern. It's like, you always make everyone feel, welcome and comfortable, and your energy. And you're like, yes, let's do this. That's what I love. It's just, you make everyone that you connect with, you make them feel like they're your best friend, and we appreciate that about you. And you're an amazing storyteller.
I've always wanted to be genuine. I've always wanted to be real, organic. I've wanted to always be 100% relatable. I'm not better than anybody. I just love what I'm doing. I hope it shows. And so that's just me. That's what I do. I have a hard time saying no. I do way more banquets and foundation work than I probably should. I should kind of ease up on the throttle a little bit, but I just don't know how to do that.
I hear you. And I'm so grateful. And thank you for joining us. And I just have a couple more questions. And
Couple
then
more. We're just getting going. Come on,
I
Grace.
love that because I want to be respectful of your time. So
Make it a 2-hour special.
oh my God, Vern, you don't have 2 hours, all right? What storytelling, right now, storytelling is really the focus if you're in business or if you're on social
Mhm.
media and they talk about storytelling and you're an amazing storyteller. Does that storytelling come naturally to you, or is that something that you've really had to hone in and practice?
I think you have to work at it. When I'm going out to do a story, you got to have a plan and visualize kind of how the story is going to play out. I mean, there's ways you want to do it, but a lot of times when you're shooting something or interviewing somebody and you're kind of formulating this story or whatever, I mean, things happen, things change. We're like, oh man, well maybe it's not that way. So you kind of adjust and kind of move it around. The great thing about my storytelling is I get to pretty much do it all. I mean, I get to shoot the story, I get to edit the story, I get to write it. I just did a Black History Month special on a Black vintner named Paula Harrell, and boy, since that aired, she's had like more orders than she could shake. I mean, that just come in by the day. But I was able to kind of produce that story. In fact, the opening shot, I stole it from a director, Vince Gilligan, who created Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So anyway, and his latest show is called, oh gosh, it's late. With Reese Seahorn. Anyway, his latest show, I'll think about it in a second. He always had an opening shot of the camera tilting down from the sky down to where the sun. So I kind of stole that idea, and so the opening piece tilts down to this vineyard, and there's Paula walking along these rows with these vineyard, and the story kind of unfolds from there. But yeah, you see things, you go, hey, man, that's a pretty good shot. I'm going to try and see if I can incorporate that into something that I'm doing. So. Anyway, I'll
have to go watch it. So
I'll think of it in a second what the name of the show is, but
not the show. I want to go watch that piece that you did.
I'll send you the link to that.
Yeah, send me the link. So, being in the industry for 41 years, being a father, being a husband, what has been, one of the most difficult challenges you've had to navigate, and how once that was navigated, when you look back, that you saw as, okay, this was really a blessing in disguise?
I would say my biggest challenge, I don't talk about it very often, but in 2006, it was tough. I was working for Kron. Kron had been sold to an independent owner 6 years beforehand, and we no longer had NBC affiliation.
I remember
and the price of Kron stock just kind of fell right through the floor. That company had to file Chapter 11. I had just gotten my house in Mill Valley, and all of a sudden I couldn't afford it because everybody had to take haircuts, and I lost 40% of my salary. Mm. Now, for those of you in the Bay Area that know housing and know Marin, Mill Valley is a great place to live.
Yeah, and if
you're wallet,
right.
So all of a sudden, I had this house, and I couldn't afford it anymore. I mean, I was just trying to hang on. And then my sons were, 06. My sons were 7, 5, and 3. And so I had 3 young kids, and I really didn't have any answer. I mean, this was, I was on the verge of having to maybe go out and seek something else, sales, whatever, get out of the game, because I just 40% of your salary gone, because that I counted on so I could live in Mill Valley. So I tried to hang on as much as I could. And then in February of 2012, I just down on my luck, I get a call from the news director at Channel 5, a guy named Dan Rosenheim. He had been the news director at Cron before Channel 5 hired him away. And so he called and said, let's get a coffee. I want to talk to you about what you guys are doing at Cron. Because at the time, Cron was the first ones to go full bore one-man band system. For those that don't know, you used to have a traditional cameraman and a reporter. You go out, you do all these stories. But in a cost-cutting move, Cron decided to break down into one-man band news crews. And so they wouldn't have to, pay the insurance, pay full salary. It was a money move because Cron was in Chapter 11. And so we all had to become what's called MMJs. That's multimedia journalists. And so that's what I was doing, just struggling along. So he calls me. I'm covering the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He says, let's get a coffee when you get back. So we go out for coffee, and he peppers me with all these questions about what I'm doing, how the MMJ system works. And then he calls me the next week and says, hey, I want you to meet my boss, who's the general manager at KPIX at the time. And I'm like, oh, well, this is interesting. And so I'm scrambling. Anytime I get a chance to, meet a general manager, great. And his name was Ron Laginati. And here comes full circle with Sarah High School. Ron Laginati, I believe, still has swim records at Sarah. He went to Sarah High School, and his son played football for Patrick Walsh. Yep. And so we have a great time at lunch, and I came walking away feeling pretty good at myself. And then we're getting into March now. The news director calls me and says, how about you coming over to Channel 5?
I just got the chills.
And I was like, wow, sure. And so, but this was March. Okay. He had offered me this job, but at the time I had made a commitment to Cron, who had taken 40% of my salary. And, because the US Open was coming up at the Olympic Club. Yeah. And so I went to the news director of Cron and I said, look, this has happened, but here's what I want to do. I'll stay at Cron because I knew I was the lead reporter for the US Open coverage. And once the US Open is over, then I'll go on across the street. And so they agreed to that. And that's what I did. The US Open came, it went. The next day, I was processed out of Cron. I had my little exit interview, and Tuesday I did some laundry or whatever, and then that Wednesday was my first day at Channel 5. This is June 20th, 2012.
Wow!
And Grace, I felt like I don't know if anybody have seen this movie, this Richard Gere movie called An Officer and a Gentleman.
Oh yes.
Remember that last scene when Zach Mayo goes in that factory and picks up Deborah Winger and carries her out of the factory, and people are like, "Way to go, way to go!" That's how I felt. That's how I felt when I left Cron to go to Channel 5.
Oh, I it was 6 years. Like you hung in there for 6 years.
Hung in there for as long as I could. And Dan Rosenheim was my Zach Mayo, and I was Deborah Winger as he carried me out of Cron and over to Channel 5. And I was back to a decent salary. They took care of me. There was that commitment to sports, and I could breathe again.
Oh,
and that saved me. But that was a big hurdle. I mean, that was probably that was the most professionally challenging time of my life. And I was able to kind of overcome it. And I'm still at Channel 5 today as we've gone from the analog age into the digital age of television.
Well, we appreciate you. We love you. You're amazing. And thank you so much for sharing that story, because I know at this time there's so many individuals going through their own season, through their own struggle. And that was just a beautiful example of how, if I can say the word, God, the universe just comes and takes us to that
Yeah,
next
it
level.
saved me. It really saved me. And so now I'm again having a time of my life. We're in the
Yes.
digital age.
Yes.
If you ever watch our newscast, um, all the shows have been live, but our studios are green screen studios now.
Yes.
Everything is augmented reality and virtual reality. The
Amazing.
set you see, the video you see, the crazy cool wipes and stuff
Different.
that coming out of the walls, the graphic, all that kind of stuff. All that is just superimposed in. What we see in the studio, we all we see is green and a monitor, and we're standing on our marks. So
Wow.
that's kind of how it does. We do our newscast with one camera at the end of a long boom, and there's a series of the camera just moving and sways and tilts and all that kind of stuff. That's
Very cool.
kind of how we do it.
Oh my God, so cool. And
Yeah,
it's gonna
there's no desk, there's nothing like physically in front of us.
how things change, but they change for the better. And so thank you so much for sharing that story. That's like, I feel honored, to have heard that with you, to, hear you share that. I'd love for you to
Grace,
share.
I'll tell you, I'm so old. I've been in the game in the Bay Area for so long. I did a story early 90s and at De La Salle. I practiced with the football team, and you know who was on that team?
Don't tell me.
Patrick Walsh and Justin Allenbaugh.
I was gonna say, don't say
little Patrick Walsh. He was my teammate for a practice.
Was he? Yeah. Well, Patrick and Lindsay are good friends, and he's still amazing to this day, and what he's done.
He is
incredible.
He is.
He's an amazing human being, first and foremost. Amazing, giving, generous, like you. Before
you drive into Sarah, you can hear him from the parking lot.
Oh yeah.
As practice goes on.
Oh yeah. I feel so grateful and blessed to have participated in those years when that team of never was something I've never experienced in my life. The energy, I'm like, God, I want to be a boy and see what it feels like, because it was so amazing. So share with us the Vern Glenn Invitational. Tell us, a little bit about that and when it's coming up this year.
Thank you for giving me the time to kind of talk about that. It's I've always wanted to help people, mentor people, give back, and I always told myself if I was in a position to help people, that I would do it. And this goes back to when I was looking to get into the business. I graduated from UVA in May of 1984. And so I pounded the pavement and had tried to get around to try and get my foot in the door. And I was told by a very prominent newscaster, she was a news anchor, and she had such a lofty status of herself. It was one of those, don't look her straight in the eyes, and she only signs flat objects, and she might give you the time of day. She was holier than thou. And I went up and I introduced myself to her, and she just looked at me like I was just some tarnished piece of jewelry, and just it just blew me off, pretty much saying, "Kid, why don't you just think about doing something else? You're not going to get in this business." And so that was a gauntlet thrown in my face. And that's when I said, if I'm in a position to help people, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be like that anchor. And so here we are, fast forward present day. I'm in a barbershop. I'm getting my hair cut, and a guy named Joe, we call him Joe the barber. And he said, you know what, we should, you've been in the market a long time. You're older than dirt. We should have an event and in your honor, and make it a charitable event. And so he talked me into starting the Vern Glenn Invitational. And so I did it. And the first year we had it at Sequoia Country Club in Oakland, right next to the zoo. And Grace didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I needed a team to help me, but the golf sold out.
Nice.
And then the dinner sold out. So many people showed up for dinner. Sequoia Country Club had to move the venue from inside to outside to accommodate the 220 dinner guests that we had.
Amazing.
And so, but there were so many people that attended and played and participated and bid high from Marin. I said to myself, if I'm going to do this again, I owed it to the county to bring the tournament, the event there. And so that's what I did. Last year, I brought it to Marin Country Club, and we did it again, sold out again. And so here we have the third Vern Glenn Invitational. We are now, I'm proud to say, a 501c nonprofit. And I've gotten a lot of support, a lot of help. And we raise money for 3 Marin-based nonprofits that really need help, and we're just taking the ball and we're running. We run with it.
I love it. And we'll share. Remind me when it is. It's June 20th this year, 2026.
Monday, June 8th.
Monday, June 8th
is the third Vern Glenn Invitational. Again, Marin Country Club, VernGlennInvitational.net.
And we'll share
the
that
website for those that want to go and check it out. We haven't opened registration yet. Spots fill up pretty fast once we do open it up. It'll probably be in April. Okay. So now I'm in the period of reestablishing, the contacts and the sponsors that we had to make sure that we can kind of bring them back again, and that they're willing to help, and the reception's been good. I'm getting, donations coming in that, so it's been really good for us. My grand plan is to do this a good 10 years and kind of see where I am after a decade of doing it. And
amazing.
And I just hope that those that we help kind of look back and just all I need is a thanks. That's really all. That's all I need.
You're amazing. Thank you. And this is what it's about, is just giving back. And you've been so gracious and so kind, and I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll definitely share about the Invitational. And you said it'll open up in April, so we'll definitely kind of have that link there. And you know what? You never know. Maybe I'll reach out to Patrick and Lindsay, and we'll also be there. That would be fun.
Hey, yeah. I invited Coach to play because his son Willie plays.
Yeah, Willie.
He plays for Pepperdine. But anyway, I invited him, but he just couldn't get. He was out of the country. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough for these coaches and athletes to get them in,
especially at that
current
time.
Ones.
Yeah,
because their time is their own. But I want to let them know that that I'm thinking about them and that they're invited. So yes. We get a lot of ex-athletes like Chris Mullen and Brandy Chastain's played. John Taylor, the former 49er, played. John Taylor won the putting contest with a 40-foot putt. Yeah, so I want people to go to the car and say, well, I went to this golf tournament and a party broke out.
Right on. Hey, baby.
And I want to think, man, that was a good time. What's Vern got planned for next year?
I love it.
So that's what I want.
Well, that's always going to happen because you are hosting it, and it is Bay Area, and we just bring the vibe. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even play. I just drive around in a cart and just shake hands and kiss babies.
I love it.
I'm like Bob Hope, the host.
Vern, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. We love you. And is there anything else you'd like to leave with our audience before we say goodbye?
No, just be yourself. Make the most of every day. Again, treat people the way you want to be treated. We hammer it the way to our boys, and in my mind, that's how you make America great again.
Yes, amen to that. I agree with you. That is how we make America great again. Thank you so much for joining me, Vern. And for those of you watching, listening, please like, subscribe, and share so we can continue to bring you incredible guests like the legendary Vern Glenn. We love you.
Like it, bang that link, subscribe it. Yeah.